Welcome, food travelers, to an episode here in San Antonio, Texas. It's our first time coming here to San Antonio, and in this episode, we head over to 2M Smokehouse BBQ on a Sunday for lunch. Their hours of operation is from Thursdays to Sundays from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., and they are closed on the other days of the week. 2M Smokehouse BBQ is mentioned on the Michelin guide, and it's also ranked 50 best barbecue joints on the Texas Monthly. At the time of this recording, we were staying in the downtown area by the Riverwalk, and it was about a 20-minute drive southeast to the restaurant. There was plenty of parking at the front of the restaurant and to the side of the restaurant. I think we arrived about 30 minutes before they opened, and from what we heard, Simon, I believe they were sold out within 90 minutes.
They sold out pretty quick. There was a small line when we first got there, but it actually grew and there was quite a few people. As you kind of saw through the video, there's a short line you go through to order, and then it kind of stretches outside. So you got to be careful and be ready if you are going to be there and you have to stand outside in the sun, because we went on a hot day, but it wasn't like, I would say super hot, but hot enough. So if it's like 100 degrees, definitely be ready for that. Make sure you have your sunscreen or whatever else you need. But I was really happy to come try this one, Micah. This is my first time in San Antonio, and I believe it was yours as well, and I really enjoyed our trip here.
Yeah, and I also wanted to mention that outside in the lineup area, they did have water. So if you were really thirsty because it's hot out, you can drink some water there. I also was pretty appreciative with how much they posted with all those different menus with the different type of items that they had. They also had the laminated menu so you could see what you want before you got there to make your order.
Yeah, that definitely added a lot of convenience, especially, as you're standing there. It didn't take too long. I wouldn't say it was super fast, but it wasn't slow either. It was just kind of in that pacing where you kind of felt you were moving with enough pacing where it wasn't slow and wasn't fast, and you were happy with what you had to wait for. And of course, with going with Texas barbecue, there's people who wait even longer than this, but it wasn't too long and not too short.
Yeah, I think maybe it's because it was Sunday, it was their last day of the week. Maybe that's partly why it wasn't as busy. Maybe during the other days they could have been more busy there. But like Simon said, the line was pretty fast. It moved pretty great too, and with going through the ordering system, it was pretty easy. It's just one guy out in the front there cutting, and I always like it when they have the cutting section in the front where you can watch everything.
Yeah, it definitely adds to the show because, especially with Texas barbecue, they open up all the different meats that you order and put everything together. And so, like Micah said, the order comes from the front, as you'll see the guy who's cutting up the meat. And then if you want your sides, that's actually a little bit to the right of where the meat section is. And then you pay on kind of a third station where the cash register and everything else is to kind of complete the whole ordering queue.
Yeah, and some of the items that we got here since we came here, we had the beef ribs, tri-tip, brisket, pork belly, pork ribs, and for the sides we got the coleslaw and egg salad. On the menu they just described the egg salad as a disassembled deviled egg. To me that sounds pretty interesting, and it sounds a little bit more appetizing to me, because I guess usually egg salads, it doesn't, I don't know, to me it just doesn't sound like it's as inviting for me to try something like that. But they also did mention on their posters that the tri-tip was that daily special, and I'm glad that we also got the beef ribs, because beef ribs oftentimes is, if you're not there super early, you just miss your chance.
Yeah, it goes out quick as everybody's buying all the different meats. And one thing that's really tough about barbecue is you have to kind of plan ahead of what you think is going to be sold, and you really can't have too much left over because it'll hit their margins. And so it's really tough. So it's always you either sell out or you don't make quite enough, or if you overdo it, you'll start to lose money, and then you won't really last that long. So a tough job for them to do, but many of the places do it well, especially the ones that stick around for a long time. And in this place, they have been around for a while, and I'm hoping that they do stay a lot longer because they do have great barbecue.
Yeah, and so for the brisket, I thought it was pretty good. I really enjoyed that they had a great bark on it. I thought the cut was pretty good with the amount of fattiness they had, and it was partly lean too, so it just melted in your mouth. I also thought the Wagyu tri-tip for the daily, I thought this was pretty good. It's not something that we see that often. I don't think I've ever actually seen it in other barbecue places that we've been to. It wasn't the easiest to cut with the plastic knife and fork, but it was pretty easy to just chew off with your hands or with your mouth.
Yeah, I think Micah, when he was cutting through, and I told him just pick it up and take a bite out of it. But it was really good. Tri-tip, definitely not something I've seen too many other, at least any of the other barbecue places and tastes that we've been to. But they did it really well. I really did enjoy that one, and would definitely get that again if I had the chance.
And I thought for the beef ribs, I thought the beef ribs were pretty good in general. It was pretty large too. It was like, I told Simon to just hold it up for the camera, and he's like, no, it's falling up, it's falling down. Yeah, the bone just falls off like how it's supposed to. I thought the flavor for this one was pretty good. It's slightly more tender in comparison with some of the other places that we've been to, but overall not too bad.
Yeah, I agree. I really did enjoy these beef ribs, and sometimes it's hard to know if you have a good one or a bad one. And there was one experience I had in particular where I had a beef rib that was overcooked, and so the bark and everything hardened really hard, kind of almost like a rock. So if you encounter something like that as well, you'll know that's a bad one. And in this case, it was not. It was nice and tender with a good flavor from the bark, as Micah mentioned. But we ordered a good amount of meats as well. We ordered the pork belly, as you can see coming up here. And that was really nice too. I did enjoy the pork belly. I ate quite a few of the slices that we had. It had a really nice mixture of the meat with the fat, and had a little light dressing on top that had a little sweetness to it. So very, very good. And I really did enjoy this one.
Yeah, and you see in the video with Simon just holding that pork belly, it's just kind of jiggly there. I think that's something you really want to see when you see pork belly, that it jiggles and it's not like overcooked or anything like that. I thought it was kind of like an orange sauce. I'm not sure exactly what kind of sauce it was, but it did have the sesame seeds. I thought it was pretty good. I really did enjoy the pork belly there.
Yeah, and we were actually lucky enough to be able to walk around the compound and get shown inside their barbecue pits. And unfortunately, they actually cooked up everything and served everything, so they, as Micah said, they were sold out, and they actually didn't have any more meats going during that time that we visit. Of course, they were going to start another set probably later that night or maybe early in the morning. But they definitely had their 1,000-gallon barbecues, which was there, and it's always awesome, Micah. I always enjoy seeing what they're cooking on because, you know, they're just so huge, and there's so much meat that can be put in those barbecue pits that it's just awesome to actually get to see them up front.
Yeah, by the time we finished everything, they did mention that the pitmaster had left already for the day because they were done cooking. And because it was on a Sunday, it was the last day of the week, they weren't cooking any more meats like Simon said. And they did also mention that they weren't going to start cooking again until that Wednesday for the following week.
And one of the things that they actually added when we were going through and asking some questions was they were actually going to add extra meats. And so they do have, I believe, Micah, turkey, but they were going to add chicken meats as a part of the meats offerings that they're going to do. And they also actually told us that they were planning to expand, or are in the process of expanding, to have a spot actually in the airport, which I thought was really cool, because that means the airport will get really good barbecue.
But overall, we really did enjoy this one. I think if you are in the San Antonio area, you should definitely check this one out. And to wrap up the episode are the notables. Unfortunately for this one, there are none.
If you've enjoyed the content you've seen, don't forget to support the channel and hit like and subscribe.
And if you want to see additional pictures of food and our travels, go over to our Instagram page and follow us there. And thanks for watching.